All right. In that case, we will open in the Dauntless' sick bay with 19 and Dr. Pierce and uh, the captain.
Bianca's just kind of letting Dr. Pierce work.
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Pierce is taking some notes. He's got 19 on a biobed at the moment and is running some medical scans.
And Bianca's just kind of waiting for word on how 19 is doing patiently.
Yeah.
19 is doing very best to sit still and submit to the procedures and not critique his work.
Captain, the doctor says, can you tell me what happened?
You cut out. I can't understand.
Dr. Pierce turns to you, Bianca, and says, Captain, can you tell me what happened?
I wish I knew. There was... All I could feel was I was in the turbo lift, and I could feel that they were in distress, and then I tried to... I tried to help them and get them through these awful memories, I think, of their assimilation. And then there was a field. And two Romulan women, and then this.
The doctor turns back to you, 19, and says, 19, what do you remember?
I received a data packet from the Roman consulate that I requested concerning a person, an individual whose name I've been recalling. I opened the packet, and it seemed like it triggered a memory cascade.
How much of the memory cascade do you remember, 19?
All of it.
It's actually somewhat promising, and my scans are determining there's no neurological damage. Captain, if it's all right, I would like to run some scans on you as well.
Of course.
If you'll just take a seat right over here.
And Bianca takes a seat.
And let's have the doctor do a roll. Wow.
Perfect.
Oh, geez, doctor.
I know, right? 2 17s.
I'm a doctor, not a doctor.
You're in peak condition, Bianca. Don't worry.
2 17s. Yeesh.
Yeah, that could have gone worse for him, but not by much. He says, well, I'm not showing anything abnormal on you, and 19 looks to be in good health, at least physically, but 19, I will want you to come down here at some point in the near future for some more counseling sessions.
More than weekly?
No, not more than weekly, but I will want to go into more detail with this during our next session, if that's all right with you.
I nod. And I'm going to look to Bianca. How much did you get?
All of it.
Well, it it's quite an ordeal, I guess.
Yeah. So I've gathered.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
You were only part of it for a moment. Only remembered it, knew it, experienced it. And I'm sure it affected you in some way. But when you think of yourself, how do you think of yourself?
That's a good question. I've never really thought about it too much. I guess I've always thought of myself as a competent officer, pilot. Never really thought of much beyond that. That's
You
why
define
that's why being in this position is so difficult in a lot of ways.
you define yourself by those around you, by what they label you as.
I suppose.
You label yourself as Bianca.
And what it means to be me. Sure.
All of these people, all of these races, all of these species, they all have terms and words and definitions. What they are, who they are, how they fit into society, how they fit into their own collectives. I don't know if I have any of that. I don't fit anywhere.
Maybe not now. But you're in a transition. It's
Oh,
Not the same as, but when I was given command of this ship, I had to reevaluate who I was and where I fit. It's not anywhere close to what you're going through, but I understand what it means to feel like you don't know where you are, where everything fits in the grand scheme of things.
It's not just that. It's this, and I put a hand on my chest. It's all of this. This body isn't my body. This arm isn't my arm. It's none of it is mine. I can't be who I was before I was assimilated. I can't be what I was after I was assimilated. I'm just this. And
You are who you are now.
it's all too small.
I wish I knew what I could say to help make it better, but I don't.
If severing a person from the collective is so simple, if you have the means to do it, why don't you free more?
There was a time when we did. Frankly, when we discovered you, we were a little surprised that there was enough left to save.
I don't understand.
And Bianca just looks at Dr. Pierce, kind of in a do I continue down this line of thought given their current mental state?
Dr. Pierce just gives a small nod.
The collective adapts. And one of the things that it has adapted to is the fact that we figured out how to reclaim those who had been assimilated by the Borg.
How
And
do
they adapted. And Bianca just takes a pad and calls up just a regular Starfleet file entry on a Borg drone and hands it to 19.
"19 looks it over. Oh.
Let no good deed go unpunished.
Hmm.
And Bianca, can you describe the Borg drone that's pictured on the pad?
I just,
Is
I
it
say,
like the ones from Star Trek Online?
Star Trek Online, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in that case, I can kind of fill in a little bit because these drones are practically eviscerated from the torso to the waist. There is very
Yeah.
little biological matter remaining there.
It's literally head, chest, which is exoplated, and then a metallic spine, waist, and then exoplated legs.
Yep.
Pretty much. That would
Many
make
of the major organs, reproductive organs, and systems are removed in the assimilation process, specifically designed to make reintegration next to impossible.
well, Borg don't reproduce in single cell fashion.
No.
They don't eat either, which means there's no need for a stomach.
No.
It is efficient. And horrifying.
Just like the Borg.
Indeed. But this, and I tap the pad, is the work of a queen.
The Queen had a personal vendetta.
How very human.
Bianca just knowingly tilts her head to the side, nods.
It's interesting the way that a collective operates once a queen is removed. There is a collective with a queen, but it's an obsolete system. One that was no doubt attempted in an attempt to humanize or legitimize us as a species. It's not
Perhaps.
necessary.
No one really knows where the Borg Queen came from, what her origins were, if she's always been a part of the collective, or if she was some sort of adaptation. In fact, there are some researchers who believe that she was an adaptation to more resistant species.
Regardless.
They've also always wondered why a collective needs a queen.
A proper collective doesn't.
Especially since the number of drones that were reclaimed in the grand scheme of things for the collective was insignificant. This evisceration of newer victims is personal. The Queen took it very personally that there was a way out. Even though the number of those who were taken back were infinitesimally small to the collective, it should not have mattered. The Queen can, by Admiral Janeway's account, destroy an entire cube with just a thought, and does so if, for whatever reason, she deems it necessary. And it can be on a whim. She routinely sacrifices drones in greater numbers than those who have recovered, and yet like I said, no good deed goes unpunished.
You made an impact.
Made an impression, that's for sure.
Borg do not adapt unless they see it necessary.
I've seen them up close. Not sure what part of any of this is necessary.
It was seen as necessary by the Queen, and according to the collective, that is all that is needed. It will be amusing once she is torn apart by this collective.
You think that's inevitable?
Change is inevitable.
That it is. As it will be for you.
And obsolescence is inevitable, regardless. And she is an obsolete system. I do have a question.
I may have an answer.
If you could save them, would you?
Of course. If we could save them and at the same time spare them a life of pain, psychological and physical, we would. But for the few that we've tried, the body dysphoria you're going through was even worse for them. And they never survived.
Well, there's only so much you can adapt to.
I suppose that's true.
With that, Dr. Pierce steps in and says, 19, I'm going to clear you to return to duty. Since you work in sick bay, it will be pretty easy to keep an eye on you in case anything should happen. Captain, I will keep you up to date on 19 status.
Of course. Please do.
Of course, Captain. And with that, we will transition to the bridge, where Jonas is at the helm. Journey, I'm going to tap you to make sure you're there. You there?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just on push to talk, and I did not want to interrupt that.
No, that's fair. And in fact, that's a good point. I'm going to give you guys a momentum for the role playing in that scene. That was fabulous. Um, you are at the helm. There's no one else on the bridge right now except someone in the someone in the chair just to the left of the view screen, whereas you're in the seat just to the or no, someone else is in the seat on the right. You're on the left side.
Okay.
Excuse me, Catalaya is on the bridge.
Oddly enough, not at the moment.
Uh, sorry.
And you're something doesn't feel quite right.
Like, is it my something is out of time displacement sensories going?
Not exactly, but as you turn to make eye contact with the person on the right, you notice uh, they're not wearing a Starfleet uniform. They're wearing robes, and there's a rather dark-skinned woman who makes eye contact with you. Um, she has a hat like the ones you've seen on the bartenders wearing on Earth space dock in Sub 47, and uh, she turns to look at you and she says, "You're trying too hard, you know."
I'm just gonna pause a moment and nod a little, and I'm gonna go. And Jonas will. Well, what else am I supposed to do?
Your sense doesn't work the same way the other Elarian senses do. Now, sometimes you can hear the truth around people, but where you really shine is hearing the truth of space itself. You can see courses through navigational hazards that no one else can. You can see subspace disturbances before they hit. And you're on a part of space right now where the Dauntless crew's really going to need that. I'm not saying don't flex your muscles, but don't worry so much about things.
I feel like I could do so much more, but it just falls short a little bit every time.
Like I said, you're trying too hard. You're putting so much of yourself out into the universe, you can't hear what the universe is telling you. That
I'm trying.
that comes
Sorry,
with
guys.
practice.
Practice. Yeah.
But keep at it. You'll get better as you get older. And in the meantime, she just kind of motions toward the view screen uh, where you can see some of the stars of the Carina Nebula. She says, in the meantime, this is where your people are really going to need you.
Yeah. I've heard some things about this place.
Don't believe everything you hear. Believe some of the things you haven't. She just kind of gives you a bemused smile.
Jonas will smile back and nod. Not try so hard.
She
think
turns
I can.
she turns back around, and you hear Catalea from the science station say, "Looks like we're on course to reach the Felothrix system in just a couple of minutes." I'm picking up some ship activity in the system. I don't recognize the ships.
Hmm. Jonas is going to turn back to his station and tap his comm badge. Lieutenant Carden to Captain.
Who put herself on mute. So you may want to unmute yourself there.
Oops. Captain West here.
We've picked up some ship activity out here that we don't recognize. Do you want us to scan the vicinity or wait till you come up here?
I'm on my way and do start scans.
Jonas will look over and nod to the science station.
Okay. Catalea will do some scanning. So if someone will roll sensors science for the Dauntless.
I can.
Okay, good deal. That's some momentum gain for the crew there. Most of it is orbital traffic around the Felothrix homeworld.
Can we identify any of it?
The Dauntless's database doesn't recognize the ships. They're further out in the system. There is some Starfleet ship activity, and what looks like a transwarp gate in the process of being constructed.
Jonas is just going to wait for the captain to get to the bridge.
Sarah, you muted yourself again.
I just realized that we're not on screen and I was doing the like Bonnie dance of distraction.
Nice.
That's funny. Sarah, you're muted.
Sorry, y'all. I was washing my bowl out so that I
no
could
worries.
put it in the dishwasher.
Okay.
You're okay. Jonas is waiting for you to get to the bridge before he reports.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Bianca. That was Bianca in the turbo lift, waiting to get to the bridge.
Elevator music. Turning an aquarium talking about shotguns. Not sure what that was about. Or even what they were. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Bianca gets up to the bridge.
Captain, we have ships our systems don't recognize. Farther out there are Starfleet ships and a gate being constructed, but is it normal we don't have information on these kinds of ships?
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, which part didn't you did cut out?
All of it. Sorry, I've been having really like weird like people like I'm hearing people and then they like cut out. And
that's okay. Basically he's letting you know that there are ships that they don't have in their database that they don't recognize. That there are Starfleet ships further on, and there's a transwarp gate being built.
I would assume we would know about the transport gate being built.
Probably would have been in your in-brief, yes.
Yeah.
And then Jonas was asking, is it normal for us to not have information about ships in our database?
Bianca just goes, interesting. The Felithrics aren't warp capable. Is there any way we can do like an analysis of the unidentified spacecraft?
Yes. What kind of analysis are you looking to do?
I mean, I don't want to like come up and like start interrogating people. Like, who are you, bro? You know,
Maybe you can see what's pilot.
What did our sorry?
Oh no, I was about to say that cut out, but it sounded like Steph was saying, basically, check to see what life forms are on the ships.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
Discord, why are you being like this today? It's been horrible.
Yeah, I was having this problem on Wednesday too.
Okay, so that's what you guys want to go with?
Is it also possible to see what they are using to power their ships?
Yes. Now you get one free question through Catalea. For the other one, you would have to spend momentum. So, which one do you want to be your free question?
I will let the captain decide on that.
Does any of like the metallurgical makeup of the ships match any like systems in the Carina Nebula?
Metallurgical analysis Catalea just runs a metallurgical analysis. So I said it fine the first time, and now I can't say it. Metallurgical analysis, and it appears that the ships have been constructed using elements from Felithrics.
Huh.
And they're just like flying in orbit around the
there are
planet.
Mostly they're flying in orbit. There's a station in orbit as well. There is some traffic to and from the planet's surface.
And do we want to ask anything else for momentum spend?
I mean, I think that determines that they're fellow Thrix. They're learning how to space people.
Is it possible to pull? Wow, is it possible to pull up the records for this planet and see what the last like scan of it was, or when it was taken, to know when like the last time somebody was here to note that there was a species thriving on the planet, and at like what state of their development they were in?
So Dauntless made first contact with the Felithrics about a year ago. At that time, they were pre-warp. They did have some spaceflight capability.
It's been a year, and they have a space station?
And this is about the time when the Dauntless reaches standard orbit.
Oh boy. Is that the space station?
It is. It's probably about twice the length of Dauntless. Yeah.
That is a big space station.
I mean, we're just gonna mosey on up into orbit of the Belithrix system.
Yeah.
See if anybody says anything.
Captain, is this like how to word this without sounding stupid? Is this normal advancement in a civilization that was pre-warp just a year ago?
I'm not sure. Definitely doesn't seem like it's possible.
It is worth noting, Jonas, since you weren't around for this, the Felafrix had been previously occupied by a warp-capable race known as the Zealand. They fought off the Zealand several hundred years ago. But
Okay.
in legal terms, first contact was not a violation of the Prime Directive simply because they already had been contacted by a sufficiently advanced race.
Okay. Is it safe to assume then that they've kind of been going off the, without like trying to dig too far, just at first glance from that information, is it too much to assume then that they're basically now just piggybacking off what was left behind? Technology-wise, I mean?
Give me an insight science roll.
Oh god, I think this is the first time I'm using science since I made the character.
I'm gonna make the difficulty.
Let me pull up to Sal just in case you need her.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the difficulty 2 here.
Okay.
And you guys still have 2 momentum. You didn't take a momentum spend for any more questions. So.
Okay. Would my ancient technology focus come into?
I'm gonna say yes here.
Sweet. That's cool.
And yeah, does anyone want to assist before Jonas rolls?
Can Tassel assist?
Yeah. With insight science, I'll let you do that.
Or engineering?
Yeah, engineering could apply.
Alright, I'm rolling insight science, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody mind if I use a momentum?
Nope. Go ahead.
Awesome. 1 momentum, please.
Done.
And I'm assuming I don't have a focus for this.
Let me check your character sheet. Stand by. Secondary characters. Not on this one, no.
Okay, I'm gonna roll. Let's see how this goes.
Okay, 4 successes. Nicely done.
Yay! 2 momentum.
Okay, so, God help me. Remind me what the original question you guys were asking was.
My original question was, are they piggybacking off the technology that was left behind by the previous race in order to bolster themselves?
Gotcha.
To advance them.
Okay, so yes and no. They've taken some of the leftover Zealand technology and reverse engineered it. However, they have also this looks like the result of basically a crash space program. Like the planetary government has said, this is what we're going to do. And using that entire planet's resources, they have established this presence.
A space race!
Yes,
except they're unified, and that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, the technology level is about equivalent to late 21st, early 22nd century Earth.
Captain,
Impressive.
they're doing very well for themselves.
I can see that. Can we tell if any of the ships are warp capable?
None of the ships that are flying about are warp capable. However, I'm going to have Catalea do another roll.
This amount of progress in a single year is quite impressive.
Someone roll Sensor Science for Dauntless, please.
Sure thing.
Okay. Kind of off screen here, but not far from the station is what looks like a dry dock facility, and there is a ship sitting in that dry dock that, from Catalea's scans, looks like it might be capable of warp flight.
Fascinating.
This is brilliant. Orders, Captain?
Mail to Velithir's homeworld.
Aye, Captain. Hailing frequencies, whatever that means.
Hailing frequencies are open.
I figure we're just pinging them,
Okay.
ringing the phone, so to speak.
Trying whatever wavelength of communication might be possible.
Given your knowledge, given Tassel's knowledge of ancient technology, they would probably know that a culture at this technology level would still be using radio waves for communication.
Radio waves. That's interesting.
They're using radio waves, and yet they've achieved this much warp capability.
Well, maybe they haven't really put much stock into anything else yet.
They haven't had to travel over vast distances enough that the delay would necessitate subspace communications.
Is there a way to tune our communication equipment to emit radio wave?
Easily, yeah.
Does it require a roll?
No. In fact, this is practically grade school level stuff.
We plugged in the adapter.
Basically, yeah. You got out the old learning with electronics set and plugged it into the main deflector, so you're good to go.
Oh, I remember when these things were built.
Jonas feels old now.
Yeah, Bianca just kind of raises an eyebrow, looks at Jonas, and it's just like, and like to herself, she's just like, how old is this kid?
I don't look any older than 24. We're ready to communicate, Captain, if you want to send a message.
Felithir's homeworld, this is the USS Dauntless.
You actually get a response. It says, USS Dauntless, this is... Actually, stand by. Yeah, USS Dauntless, this is stand by for a response. Dauntless, this is Katorash. Welcome back.
It's been a hot minute.
It has been approximately 1.5 of our years. How have you been?
Well, we've been In and out on the edge of the system. We've been keeping an eye on you. We're doing all right. You might remember me. I am Bianca West. I am now captain of this starship.
Bianca, yes, yes, we you and the crew of the Dauntless are all a part of our history books.
I can imagine. I can't help but notice you've made a lot of progress since we've been here last.
We have, in light of our first contact with you and our history with the Zelen, we felt we needed to turn our eyes outward, to borrow a phrase. We needed to become a part of the larger galactic community.
Well, that's excellent. If you ever need any scientific aid, we have Starfleet has a bigger presence in the system now.
We
We,
do.
of course, can't do anything for you, but we can give you guidance.
We do have a request.
I'll see if I can grant it.
You've seen the ship docked in orbit above our station.
Yeah.
We have been preparing it for its first flight. It will be departing in a couple of hours. We would be honored if Dauntless could accompany it.
It would be our honor.
Jonas looks like a little kid just opened the best Christmas present ever.
Would you want a team of engineers on board from my ship? That team that could help in the event of an emergency.
That would be immensely helpful. I hadn't planned to ask, but I will certainly accept the offer.
Of course. And Bianca just calls down to engineering.
Engineering, Dash here.
Hi, Dash. How about a little bit of a trip into the past?
Captain, if you're going to slingshot this ship around a star, I'm going to have to protest.
Wait, what? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
You cut out.
He said, Captain, if you're planning to slingshot this ship around a star, I'm going to have to protest.
Not like that. No, the Fellopricks have built their first warp-capable starship, and they're planning on launching it very soon. I was wondering if you could take a small team over to their ship just to keep an eye on things.
Well, yeah, of course, Captain. Permission to accompany them personally.
Granted. I figured this would be a field day for you.
Oh, you better believe it, Captain. Dash out.
Just Tefel rolls her eyes in a very un-Vulcan-like manner.
Jonas is literally bouncing in his seat. He's very excited for this.
Bring us alongside the dock ship, Mr. Carden.
Aye, Captain.
We don't even know what speed they're capable of maintaining.
It doesn't matter. It's the ship's first launch. That is always a special thing.
So, to give you guys Sorry, go ahead.
And I'm going to request the specs for my engineering team, of course, including the ship's name.
Okay. To give you guys a little idea of the ship's visual, it's about the size of the Phoenix, which was which was Cochrane's ship, the first warp-capable ship. So it's not very large. It's about the size of a shuttlecraft. Maybe twice the size of a shuttlecraft. It's got a fusion engine, and it kind of looks like the Stalker shuttles from Star Trek Online, which are Acacian shuttles. So let me see if I can pull one of those up, so I can show you guys.
I like some of the larger looking Cation ships. I actually want to save up and buy one because they look so pretty.
This is quite a thing. Imagine being there when the Phoenix took its first flight.
Slow head
Or
turn towards Jonas.
Jonas is looking at his monitor, not saying anything.
Or even the first Enterprise.
Oh, that's a cool thing.
Oh, so it just looks like an arrowhead, basically.
Basically, yes. And let's see.
Very classic UFO shape.
Aurora shaped.
The name is from the name itself is from Felothrix's mythology, and its closest Terran equivalent would be Hermes or Mercury, one of the god. This was basically named after the Felothrix god of travel and communication.
Oh, that's very poetic.
Yes. I love it.
So do you guys have anything that you would like to do in the intervening time? Dash is going to start setting up, kind of getting a feel for their ship, kind of going through it as best they can without getting in the way.
Giselle just wants to know what the approximate speed is so that we don't overshoot them.
Give me a reason engineering roll. Difficulty here is going to be 2, but the Dauntless will assist with sensors engineering.
Okay, I can roll that.
Would my... Sorry, do I have a focus?
Not on this one, no. Nice roll, though. Okay, you guys gain another momentum. It looks like it is easily capable of Warp 1, provided nothing goes wrong on the ship. Possibly capable of Warp 1.5 or even Warp 2.
Well, I would say Warp 1 just to be...
It's a good starting point.
Captain, do you know if they have a destination in mind?
I'm sure we're going to be privy to their test course.
If possible, would it be too much, do you think, to ask for their navigation chart of where they plan to... Just because if we can plan ahead to make the ride easier for them a little bit, I don't think that would be a bad thing.
Oh no, did he not hear you?
I'm not sure. Who are you talking to?
I was talking to the captain.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I caught every other word of that.
Okay. Jonas is basically asking if they could get the navigation track of where they plan on going, of taking the ship, so that they can look ahead and plan and try and make the course easier for their ship. So it takes less stress.
Maybe that's part of their testing. I go ahead and leave it alone for now.
Hi, Captain.
Plus, we got to give them room to make their own mistakes.
That is true.
Okay. You guys have anything else that you want to do? For
Tacella's gonna stay on Dauntless
Mhm.
because if Dash is over on the other ship, wants to be sure that everything is smooth.
Yep, good call. Okay, then I will wind the clock a little bit forward, and Dauntless receives a hail up close to the scheduled departure time.
Incoming hail, Captain.
On screen.
Putting it on screen.
The visual is a little fuzzy at first because of FM interference, but it clears up pretty quickly. And it's Katorash once again. Captain, our crew signals that they are ready to clear moorings. They've given me their flight plan to share with you. There's another planet in this system that looks to be habitable, but we've never visited. That's going to be their course.
Bianca just kind of gives a half smile and she nods and she says, "Proceed."
Okay. And you guys watch as this small craft undocks from its mooring and slowly just kind of edges forward into space.
Is it at all possible to have been recording that in some way?
Yes. I mean, Dauntless's sensors are recording it regardless.
Okay, cool, because Jonas would like that for his, personal collection.
Yeah. It maneuvers out a little bit, a little ways, and then starts maneuvering toward a pale blue dot. Just on the other side of the Felithrix star.
Dauntless is going to let the ship kind of catch up to its forward bow. And then she'll ask Lieutenant Carden to match course and speed. Kind of trailing behind the ship a little bit.
Kind of like the Enterprise did with the Phoenix. Except maybe not quite so
not
menacing.
firing torpedoes at them.
You're right. Yeah, so
yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit closer, but a safe distance.
Yeah.
But still very much close enough that if anything happened, they could, rescue people.
Yeah.
Because Bianca gave Dash strict orders, okay, if you see something that's life-threatening, maybe suggest a fix or something, but otherwise let them make their own mistakes. we'll make sure there's no loss of life, but let them make their own mistakes,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, and Dash is aware of the Prime Directive too. Like,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't
like
necessarily, even though it doesn't necessarily apply directly to the Fellathrix, he's going to stay as close to it as he can.
Yeah, well, and like, we don't, we're not going to like Vulcan it and be like, we're just going to oversee while you struggle and what have you. Like, we're not going to Vulcan it, but we're also not going to like give them the answers to their homework either.
Yeah. All right. Let's have Catalina do another roll here. Okay. The Fellathrix ship is motionless for a few moments, and then Catalina says, "Captain, I'm picking up a warp bubble forming around the ship. She's about to go to warp."
And I just, I nod to Lieutenant Cardin, and I'm just like, because we have their flight plan, so I'm gonna kind of have him mirror what they're doing.
Jonas is like halfway up out of his seat, like watching the view screen.
and abruptly, the ship disappears into warp, leaving a flash of Cherenkov radiation behind it. Dash to Dauntless.
Dauntless here.
She's flying, Captain.
Excellent. Now, don't tell them anything about their neighbors. You hear me?
Aye, Captain. Mum's the word. Dash out. Jonas, let's have you give me a control con roll. Difficulty here is going to be 1. Dauntless will assist with structure con.
And I'm assuming my home operations or astronavigation comes into...
Most definitely. Nice roll. Who's rolling for Dauntless?
Is what I do.
Bianca can roll.
I will roll it then. Once I find the Dauntless. There it is. It's like I find the mirror stuff a lot easier than I
Funny how that works. Yeah, it's under player ships.
Engines con.
Structure con.
Structure. Okay.
Okay. You guys are topped out on momentum. Jonas, you easily matched the Fellathrix ship's course and bring the Dauntless into warp. Far enough behind that it's warp. Excuse me. Far enough behind that you guys' warp field will not interfere with the smaller ships.
Excellent.
Although with the Dauntless at warp 1, the Fellathrix ship is pulling away slightly. Looks like it's managing warp 1.3, 1.4, 1.5.
Not bad.
That's good for them. Adjusting slightly, but staying back to maintain the slight distance.
Yep. Easily done. And about 5 minutes later, the Fellathrix ship comes out of warp near this almost sapphire blue planet. And Dauntless,
And
I'm sure,
Dauntless,
comes out of warp like just behind it.
Yep.
just like right after. And establish orbit around the planet.
Yep. Yeah, the fellow from the ship is doing the same.
This is a beautiful planet.
And Bianca is listening.
And
She's also not saying anything. She's just listening.
You can feel the distinctive mental presence of Adriel, the leader of the Delphine people you met during your first contact. And more than feeling it, you can actually hear her as she says, Bianca?
Did you say something?
Did I say something?
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. Adriel, the leader of the Delphine.
Yes. Says what?
Yeah. Says to, and Bianca hears her say, Bianca?
Hello.
You're back.
Yeah, this is in her head.
Yes.
We are.
You've brought friends from the other world in the system.
They've come to explore. And like Bianca kind of looks over at looks a little over at Jonas to see if he reacts at all. Because this is all happening inside Bianca's head.
Right. Jonas, give me an insight command roll. Difficulty here is going to be 2.
Question: would Tassel also make? Oh no, Tassel's not on the bridge.
Right, Tassel's an
I
engineering.
thought so was. Oh, it was an engineering. Yes, that's right.
No focuses here, correct?
Let me check your focuses. Correct.
Alright, and... is it okay if I take a moment?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Alright, taking a moment.
Got it. The captain seems distracted, and you sense the source of the distraction is coming from the planet below.
I'm going to look at the captain, and then I'm going to look at the screen, and... Is it possible to try and, like, get a feel for the planet? To, like... I don't know, reading the planet just sounds weird. Or listening to the planet. I want to listen to the planet.
Given your success on that roll, I'll actually let you do it for 1 momentum. I'll let you do it with a momentum spend.
If everyone's okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go.
The planet is teeming with life. More alive than most other planets you've encountered, Jonas. Including sentient life that appears to live almost entirely under the ocean's surface.
Oh, wow.
Moreover, the sentient life is telepathic and highly aware of their surroundings.
Oh, that's... Oh, this is beautiful. Jonas
Bianca kind of wants to like tap into the Felithric ship with the their commander's permission, of course, and just kind of listen. Just kind of like be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, you could hail them and just ask if you could listen. Are you going to tell them anything or?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the captain says, Dauntless, this is, yeah, Dauntless, go ahead, sure. We'll keep the channel open.
It's
And
just fascinating.
and then he just kind of cocks his head. As if he's listening to something. And then he looks at you, Bianca, and says,
What can Bianca feel?
Confusion at first. But she can also feel the contact with the Delphine. And then just a sense of wonder. Because for
And then what?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh Jesus, you're cutting out super bad.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, it's okay, I can repeat. I said curiosity at first, but then a sense of wonder.
And as these emotions cross his mind, Bianca just kind of like she can't help it, like she gets this big toothy grin.
And you can and he kind of looks at you, like turns up from the expression that he had on his face, looks at you, and in that moment, you realize he realizes that you knew all along. And he's not mad about it. He's really happy, but he's also just in wonder at the fact that this other species was here.
Just wait till he finds out that they knew about them the whole time.
He says, Captain, we may be in this orbit for a little while. We may end up delaying our trip back to Felithrex. But I think they'll understand.
We'll let them know via subspace.
We don't have subspace communications yet. He kind of grimaces, but a radio signal should only take about 10-15 minutes to reach them anyway, so...
All right.
That's something we're going to have to figure out, isn't it? They're not spacefaring, though, are they? He's kind of asking himself, and he's kind of asking you.
Bianca just kind of steevels her like fingers with her elbows on her chair's armrests, and she goes, "I think you have the answers to your own questions."
He says, yeah, that we do. We're going to have to... Go ahead.
Welcome to the greater galaxy.
It starts within our own system. We had no idea. And New Zealand never had any idea either. Because they never thought to look underwater. And I think because somehow the Delphine knew. I don't blame them.
They've known about you for a long time. And they
Captain,
know you're here now.
this is going to change our civilization as much as first contact with you did.
That's part of the journey. And Bianca is pleased as punch. She's just like, this is like, this is why we come out here, right? Like, this is to, they're finding out things about their own neighborhood, about other species, and it's blowing their minds. And
Right?
she's just
Yeah.
like relishing in it.
We're not equipped to land with this ship. It was just a test bed. We're going to have to go back to Fellafrix and let them know.
That's the thing about exploration, is your mission parameters can change on a moment's notice.
Well, until we have transporters, we're going to have to plan things a little differently.
We can help you with that.
We'd appreciate that.
Thought you might. Of course, we can't do the work for you, but we will try to help facilitate your mission as much as possible.
And on that note, I will be right back.
They're precious babies!
Oh, God!
The one thing your jaded Borg really needs to see. They're not safe.
Oh.
We're headed towards this planet, and Bianca's like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Jonas is just enjoying himself.
Bianca can't stop smiling. Like, her face is gonna start hurting here pretty soon.
If Jonas doesn't stop bouncing, he's going to fall out of his chair.
He's gonna bounce right out of his chair.
I'm actually also really glad I put that point into command.
No, so you guys weren't here when we made first contact with these guys. Like, we were just in orbit of the planet, kind of like gonna just observe. And Bianca got a tickle in the back of her brain. kind of like a question mark in whale song.
Oh, that's great. I love that description.
And she was at the helm, and she was just like,
Hello?
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 Is it me you're looking for?
and then because we weren't going to make first contact with the species because they weren't warp capable. We were just going to observe. But then they're just like, hello?
We got you, fam. We got you.
We totally see you up there in orbit. Joke's on you.
They didn't so much see us as that they made the connection with me, and I was just like not that was like the first time that's ever happened in the history of ever. So Bianca was just like, Captain.
Oh, you guys going over the first contact?
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun. Okay, you guys ready, or does anyone else need a couple of minutes?
All good. Let's go.
Okay, because picking up right where we left off, uh, you guys receive a hail on subspace frequencies.
On
Incoming. Incoming hail. On screen, Captain.
USS Dauntless, this is USS Timberwolf. We just picked up a warp signature in the system from an unknown vessel, but we saw Dauntless was there as well. Can you fill us in on what's going on?
The Felithurks have successfully developed warp drive.
Well, that's spectacular.
And we just were along for the ride.
Well, you lucky ducks.
There's more. They've discovered their neighbors.
Dauntless, on behalf of the crew of the Timberwolf, congratulations, and we are jealous as hell.
Figured you might be.
Jonas actually bounces out of his chair.
This is what we're here for. This is what we're out here for.
True words, Captain. Let us know if you have if you require any assistance. We're going to be in the system for a bit.
Okay.
Timberwolf out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We have offered assistance to Federation assistance to the Felithrix engineers and science teams. I mean, we can't do everything for them, but I figure we can help them achieve their goals, because their goals have changed a little bit since they set out on this first flight.
Yeah, I imagine so. And, I mean, they're warp capable now. I'm sure the Federation would love to have them join, if they are so inclined.
Well, we can talk about... I can definitely start the talks on preparing an application for them.
Okay. Well, let us know if you need anything else, Captain.
Of course.
Timberwolf
Dauntless
out.
What do the what does the species look like, by the way?
They are remarkably similar in appearance to Earth ocean mammals.
No, I meant the Felithrix.
Oh, the Felithrix are actually fairly resemblant of Caitians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they took the same evolutionary kind of tack. There's some dissimilarities in terms of like facial structure and like fur colors and that kind of thing, variations, but they're cat-like.
Okay.
Bianca just sits back in her chair and slaps her the armrest and goes, "I love this job."
Jonas is going to scramble back up into his chair from where he bounced.
And are they going to test the rest of their flight profile, or are they going to go straight home?
They are actually going. They're actually changing their mission parameters. They are going straight back to Felithrix. And it looks like they're maneuvering for warp even right now. So.
And Bianca just gestures to Jonas, like, you know what to do.
Aye, Captain. And he'll set in a course to follow behind them, but at a safe.
Okay. All right, so Journey, you and Steph were talking about doing a scene. Did you want to do that now or later?
A little bit later is fine.
A little bit later. Okay, cool. Just checking. In that case, Journey.
Don't want to ruin the mood.
In that case, Jonas, you set the course easily. It's just a return 10 minutes tops at warp 1. And both Dauntless and the Felithrix ship are underway.
Bianca's just like, oh, Tom's gonna be so jealous again. Shit, this is probably something Admiral Janeway would be jealous of.
Possibly. It's not very many captains get to witness a species' first warp flight.
And the first time they realize they're not alone.
In their own solar system, yeah.
In their own solar system. And making first contact for all intents and purposes.
Yep.
Did they try to send a transmission to the surface, or were they unable?
They didn't try. I mean, they made telepathic contact.
Ah, okay. So they were able to ascertain that the Delphine were not only down there, but they were sentient and...
Yes. All in very short order.
Quite an eventful day.
And before Dauntless left the system, Bianca just kind of sent a wink over her shoulder to the Delphine. Like, we'll be back. And we'll be there too.
Yep.
It's so exciting!
It's great. I loved that.
It was adorable. The best.
You guys make it back to Felithrix space with no issues. The Felithrix ship cruises easily out of warp and makes its way toward its dock. And you can't be entirely sure, but it looks like there might be fireworks coming from the space station.
Be what?
Fireworks coming from the space station.
Would you look at that?
They have a lot to celebrate.
They really do. That was quite an accomplishment.
Dash to Dauntless.
Dauntless here.
Requesting a pickup, Captain. They're in capable hands without us.
Sounds good, Dash. Prepare to transport aboard.
Aye, Captain. Dash out. Another hail from the planet's surface.
This is Dauntless.
Dauntless, this is Katarash. I've just gotten off the phone with our with our ship's captain. I've asked for a full report, but what he's told me just so far is almost beyond belief.
It was beyond belief when we set foot on your planet, wasn't it?
No, we were used to people finding us. This is the first time we found somebody else.
Well, I think you have a bright future ahead of you. And I am so honored that I got to be a witness to it. We all are.
We're glad you could be here too. Now, if you'll excuse me, there are a lot of celebratory events planned in our near future. And I need to get to planning them.
Of course. And one other thing.
Oh?
Now that you are warp capable, it'll take a little while, but you will be soon eligible for Federation membership. If you wish to take on the process, just let us know. And we can help prepare an application for you. That is, once you guys have settled down from discovering that you share a star system.
That's going to take some deliberation, but we'll be in touch. Provided you guys are going to stay in the neighborhood for a little while.
We plan on it, so long as nothing draws our attention away again, or Starfleet doesn't order us elsewhere. But this is where Dauntless belongs. This is where she was meant to be from the time that she set out. I anticipate we'll be here for a while.
Glad to hear it.
As are we.
And the signal goes dark.
Welcome to the universe.
Aww.
Okay, so time for a scene change. Where are you guys doing this?
This is all stuff. I have no idea what's going on.
19 would have like sent you a message, basically like find me when you're done with your shift. I want to talk.
Okay.
And you find if you like do like a where is 19 kind of thing, 19 is on holiday.
We would have asked the computer where 19 was, and he will go to the holiday.
Okay, I don't have a map for that, but we'll just do that in the meantime.
That's okay.
Okay, so you get to holodeck. We'll say holodeck 2.
And he'll
It's unlocked.
Okay, so he'll head on in.
Okay. So you walk in, and the interior is pretty unremarkable. It's just like a generic mock-up of Romulus, just like a street somewhere. And 19 is standing there and doesn't quite look like 19. Instead of the long white and kind of black streaked hair that you've seen, it's a short, like very traditional Romulan cut. There's no eyepiece. Their arm looks flesh, and they're wearing very traditional Romulan clothing.
Wow. Someone got dressed up.
I am attempting social interaction.
I see. How's that going for you?
Well, I suppose. I wanted to see if looking different would make me feel different.
How does it make you feel?
Strange.
I can understand that. So, why here? What made you pick this place?
I wanted to feel at home, I suppose. Or what I remember home being, maybe. I wanted to thank you for what you did.
Jonas is gonna scratch the back of his head and I don't know actually how much I did. If I'm being honest. I just you were in trouble and I wanted to help.
Well, I was going to rip my arm out.
Yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been very bad. You need your arm.
Well, it didn't feel like mine in the moment. Doesn't feel like mine now.
This one or the one beneath it?
Both.
Out of character, are we at a time in like medical technology that they can regrow limbs?
Oh, that's been tried. It didn't go well.
Okay. Jonas has no idea about this.
Yeah, that was 19 originally. That's what 19 originally had.
Yeah, and
Their
their body
body
rejected it.
Fun times.
And I wanted to know what you got when all of that happened. I assume it was quite loud for you.
Oh, yeah, it was very loud. It's very painful, very sad, very confusing.
Did you see anything? The captain saw things.
No, I'm not a telepath, so I don't really see things per se. I hear impressions and I hear things and I hear. It's hard to describe sometimes, but it's not always what people would assume. But I did feel a lot of what you were feeling because that was the loudest thing to listen to coming off of you.
Seems all I do is make you uncomfortable.
That's not really your fault. That has to do with what the Borg have done to my people and what they sound like when you hear them. It's not you. It's definitely not you. I like you. You are very interesting to be around. The Borg, not so much.
Well, the Borg wouldn't find themselves interesting to be around.
I actually wanted to talk to you about something.
You just get a nod.
Are you wearing your I forget what it was called, the thing that inhibits
The cortical inhibitor.
yeah, the Borginess.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought she was always wearing it for some reason.
She wasn't wearing it today.
You know that thing you made that helps stop me from hearing things when you're nearby?
The inhibitor.
Yeah. I actually wanted to talk to you about you not having to wear it anymore.
I'm not wearing it currently.
I know. But I meant not wearing it at all, ever, anymore.
It's an easy adjustment.
Also, I find that with becoming friends, I'm going to have to listen to everything. And I can't pick and choose what I don't want to hear and what I do want to hear. So bring on the Borg sounds, because I don't think it's necessarily fair for me to ask you to wear that.
Very well. She was my sister.
Who was?
The name, Nale.
Oh, yeah, you said that. The name, I mean.
She died.
Jonas is gonna give you like a long, like kind of sad look and nod. That tends to happen. I'm sorry she died.
Apparently, it's why I became a doctor.
Because you wanted to help her?
And I wanted to make sure no one else would die.
That's a very noble goal.
She exists in this universe.
Oh. Okay.
And she's in the nebula right now.
Oh. Alright. I guess that's what made you upset.
"25 years, different universe. And I didn't figure out a cure.
Yet. There's always time.
It wasn't relevant.
Maybe. But what about now?
Now I attend to the needs of this crew.
Yes, that's true, but you are not always attending to the needs of the crew. If that's something you wanted to work on outside of working on the crew, I don't think anyone would have anything bad to say about it.
I just am constantly confused about who I am.
You know, I think that's normal.
Do I try to be this? And I gesture at the holographic form. Or do I try to be the new me? Do I try to be Borg or Romulan or Starfleet or... There's too many labels.
I think you're trying too hard.
That just gets you an eyebrow raise.
You're trying too hard to push or fit yourself into one of these roles that you think you need to be. Starfleet, Romulan, Borg, new you, old you, future you. I think you're trying too hard.
Dr. Pierce says the same thing.
I actually just got told the same thing recently. I'm trying too hard. You're trying too hard. So you know what? I think we both just need to stop trying so hard.
Help each other relax.
Yeah, that sounds about it.
We have to do it in a way that isn't chess.
Yeah, that would be probably good. Expand our horizon. So what else do you think you would like to do?
I don't know.
Well, we've got a holodeck, and when we're not doing our shifts, we can always come here and try and find interesting things to do.
I'm open to suggestions.
All right then.
And I'm gonna turn so that I'm facing you fully. And I'm gonna offer you my hand.
Jonas is gonna raise an eyebrow, but he'll reach out and he'll take your hand.
When we're here, I'm Ironhay.
I'm in hay.
Ironhay.
I might need you to write that down.
That's fine.
And you can just call me Jonas. Or Joe, whichever.
That's it.
Okay, wow. Guys, have a momentum. Does anyone else have any scenes that they would like to undertake before I drop the next one on you guys?
I don't know, maybe one where Bianca is like excitedly telling Tom about what just went down.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. We'll put it in the captain's ready room.
And Bianca just pings Utopia Planitia. Kind of just to see if he's there.
Utopia Planitia here.
Is Captain Paris available?
He is. May I let him know who is trying to reach him?
Captain Bianca West, USS Dauntless.
Captain, I'll let him know. The Federation hold screen comes on for a moment, and then Paris's face comes on the screen. He says, Bianca! Congratulations! I hadn't had a chance to say anything since it became official.
Yeah, it still doesn't feel real, but
But the white shoulders look good. You've earned them.
thanks. It has its moments.
And it'll
Today,
turn...
for example.
Well, it'll have its moments that'll turn your hair white prematurely, but... Tell me about it. Tell me about today.
Well, I already dye mine, so... No, I remember a year ago when gosh, I can't believe it was only a year ago, when I told you about my first contact.
Yeah, the Delphine, right?
Yes, the one where I got to pilot the shuttle underwater.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Well, they had neighbors in their star system, and they just became warp capable today. We got to see it and be a part of it.
And Tom's eyebrows just kind of going up into his forehead. You got to be there for their first warp flight?
It was
That's
serendipitous.
that's amazing. That is
And
something else.
they set their course towards the other inhabitable planet in their system. Of course, I didn't say anything to them about it, but oh, I listened in when they arrived in orbit, and then they realized that they weren't alone. It's what we're out here for.
What a moment that must
After
have been for them.
after all of the fighting and the Zenkepi battles, I needed that.
I bet. I bet. Well, the good news is back here we're not fighting the Zenkethi anymore, but we are fighting the Herc. But if you can believe it, we've got the Dominion on our side.
The Dominion.
Right?
Well, I
They
guess.
hadn't heard anything from them since the war ended, since the war with them ended, and the Herc come after Bajor, and through the wormhole, the Dominion come in like the cavalry with their one of their changelings, Odo, I think it was.
Wasn't he the one that used to be stationed on Deep Space Nine?
I think so. I'm not too familiar on on everything
Well,
that
it's not
happened
like
there,
you
but
guys were around for any of that anyway.
no, I mean we had the one visit to Deep Space Nine, and then we had the one flight through the Badlands, and that didn't quite go so well.
Right? Well, wouldn't say it was exactly a picnic for you.
Yeah, I haven't
Either.
been eager to go back to DS9 since.
But this is why this is what this ship is for. This is why we're out here. You know?
That's true. That's really what Starfleet's all about. I don't know a single starship captain who wouldn't want to be out there with you on days like that.
Captain of the Timberwolf was right jealous, I tell you that.
Not surprised. I would be too in his shoes.
uh,
I might be a little jealous anyway, you know. Maybe I need to go out there on shore leave. Call in a favor with Tuvok.
it would be hell of a shore leave being all the way out here.
Well, Voyager's got long enough legs to make it in less than 70 years, so who knows?
Well, you'll always have quarters here waiting for you. So long as I'm captain, anyway.
Fair enough. Hey, I gotta get back to it. We're actually helping the Republic design some of their ships now, and it's interesting, but it's also rather time consuming.
Yeah, well, like you guys didn't have enough work on your plate already.
Exactly. But helping other people, I don't so much mind.
I know.
All
All
right.
right, old man.
Take care of
Good to
yourself out
talk
there,
to you.
kiddo.
Will do.
And the screen goes back to the Starfleet logo.
Bianca just smiles to herself. Turns her chair around and looks out into space.
Sick beta captain.
Captain West here.
Captain, can you report down here in a few moments? I reran that scan I took of you earlier, and I'd like to revisit the results with you.
Sure. Is there anything wrong?
I don't think so, but it's best I tell you in person.
All right, I'm on my way.
I'm off duty, right? I'm not there for this.
Yes, you're still in the holodeck.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And Bianca just makes her way to sickbay.
Okay. As you make your way in, Dr. Pierce says, come in, please.
Bianca just kind of
And
goes
he
in,
kind of walks into his office. He says, you of course already know that I am a psychiatrist by trade, not a medical doctor. So I had one of my orderlies review the scans that I took when I had you in sickbay earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And they found something that I missed. I wanted to show you this. And on his table, he pulls something up on his display and turns it to face you. He says, this was a brain scan that from your medical records a year ago, when you first reported aboard the Dauntless.
All right.
And he turns it back around, or he kind of reaches over the panel and hits a button. And you see a network of nerve bundles highlight in green. He says, this was the brain scan we took earlier. What you're seeing there was not there a year ago.
What does that mean?
The frontal lobe in betazoids is the area of the brain responsible for empathy and telepathy.
Right. I haven't had as many connections between my frontal lobe and the rest of my brain as other betazoids do because of the blindness. Because of my condition. It's hereditary. It's like color blindness in humans.
And yet you've been able to hear every word I've said since you walked into this office. And for the first time you notice, his lips haven't moved since you came in. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
What?